Okay, so we come back to King Philip's War here of 1675 and 1676. We lost recording somehow, so bear with me. Anyway, I don't know where it stopped off at, but there again, please remember that King Philip was referred to by white settlers because of his large stature. Metacom was his American Indian name. Metacom was Massasoit's son. There again united Indians and coordinated attacks on New England settlements. There again, this is in direct response to the Praying Towns, the attempt to convert natives to Christianity. Felt like that they were losing a lot of their traditions and their customs, and eventually would have their land taken from them. So King Philip sees within himself the need for the establishment of intertribal unity. They need that. So frontier settlements forced to retreat to Boston. The war would end in failure for the Indians. King Philip's War did slow the colonial western march, but Metacom would eventually be beheaded and quartered, and his head was stuck on a sharp spike for all to see. His wife and son was sold into slavery. And so as a result of his attempt to create an alliance, it turned out to be an extreme failure. So there again, Metacom and his resistance was short-lived. And you do need to know that this was the last native resistance in the New England colonies. They would never be a serious threat in New England again as a result of that. 60 to 80% of the native population would be decimated, right? So this was the last stand. And of course it was a failure for King Philip and the attempt at intertribal unity to stop colonial encroachment, if you will. All right, so there again, we have discussed a little bit about the 13 colonies. We're going to go pretty quick through this. All right, if you'll notice here in the Northeast or in the New England area, it's of course the teal, and this is your information here. If you don't want to write this or you want to condense this, you know, more power to you. Of course, remember that in the Northeast, the soil was rocky and very infertile. A huge codfish fishery, so commercial fishing, whaling, hunting became profitable. Blubber was used for oil and lamps. Rum was also used in the triangular trade, small factory manufacturing, a lot more commercial oriented. So there again, merchant class became sizable. So that was sort of the working capacity. The middle colonies, or the middle region, was called the breadbasket because of course, the appropriate soil conditions for that. So therefore, you know, they would be able to grow a lot for the colonies. All right, forests provided raw materials, shipbuilding, lumber industry, manufacturing things such as iron, glass. Some states were smaller southern plantations, a lot more religious tolerance in the middle colonies. Such, for example, William Penn and the establishment of Pennsylvania. So, just very diverse, whereas your Northeast is very strict as far as puritanical idea. And then we come down here to the Chesapeake colonies, or your southern colonies. There were two distinct regions: the Tidewater, close to water transportation, here in Virginia, and then the Piedmont, which would be here, the backwoods. And of course, that's going to create that class conflict with Bacon's Rebellion. Chief products of the southern colonies included rice, was grown here, and indigo, which would be in your coastal south, and then of course tobacco would be in this region here. So that gives you some working capacities. There again, your New England colonies that you see here, if you don't want to write this, you don't have to. I'm just going over this. People were overwhelmingly from England, strong families, knit communities, education, highly valued in those New England colonies we talked about yesterday. Cool climate, long winters, short growing season, so they had to think of other ways. Commercial, manufacturing, things like that would be more of their economy instead of agriculture, okay? So we've discussed that a little bit. Pilgrims and versus Puritans, I really don't know why that's titled that, because it's really a description of the middle colony. I think that's what that should say, is middle colony, but anyway, mostly ethnically and religiously diverse in your middle colonies. Okay, so you see the information here. It's really not anything, you know, we've not already went over. And then, of course, your southern colonies, and that should be southern, so somebody really messed that up. But anyway, plantation systems, worm growing seasons, natural resources were rich farmland. Religion did not have a large influence on the daily lives of southern colonists. The southern colonists had a mixture of religions, including Baptist and Anglicans. That may be something we've not discussed, but we do that a little bit more later on. All right, that's a colonies chart right there. I'll just let you look at that, or view that if you want to go back. All right, that's all of the notes for chapter 3 and chapter 4. My apologies for the cutting off of that. I don't know why that happened, but I will try to upload both of those. All right, y'all have a good day.